Hassel here, co-host of the Nerdy Man Room Show. And we proudly present to you Man Room Shorts. Your discretion is advised.
Talked so much about how Anakin was that chosen one. I've thrown out this theory a bunch of times. I've been laughed at a bunch of times, but my theory is that the whole intergalactic civil war was Obi-Wan's fault. Because in Phantom Menace, he takes that 1 second to spin his lightsaber around and be all bougie instead of running forward and getting caught by that shield and not being able to help Qui-Gon. So let me ask you this question, because we were talking about this the other day, and I think it's very intriguing. But what changes? What happens if Qui-Gon survives? If Obi-Wan doesn't do his little lightsaber spin, and he gets there in time and helps him, and he survives, and he's the one who trains Anakin, how does that change things?
If a Qui-Gon never dies, Palpatine will be exposed by Episode 2. Whether he gets killed or not, I'm not going to say, but I do think that Qui-Gon and Anakin go on to become great Jedi. Because Qui-Gon was one that escaped the line between the two. He would never turn Sith, but at the same time, he did not believe in the path that the Jedi were taking at this point. Because they had become a little too self-righteous by the prequels. Because there's various parts where we love the good guy. But even us, as super fans, when you're watching parts of the prequels, you look at, Mace Windu, and even Yoda's like, wow, you're a self-righteous prick. And something you wouldn't have thought, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't think you would say this, but I mean, they were just, especially Mace Windu, he was a dick at certain points, especially when it came into Anakin. And I don't think Qui-Gon would have put up with that shit. He would have shut that shit down like Negan. And which he had been a father figure to Anakin, more importantly. That father figure, the nurturing, even if it was hard nurturing at times, which is what he did not get from, Obi-Wan. And there you got more of a brother-sibling rivalry where he's just his master is only a few years older than he is. And he had to know all along, and the arrogance and hubris or whatever, that, okay, I'm supposed to be the chosen one. I'm going to be a badder motherfucker than you at some point. And I'm getting there slowly. To where I don't think he'd ever been allowed that arrogance with Qui-Gon. I apologize. I think Qui-Gon would have tempered that. And it would be much different. You'd have never got the Galactic Empire. It's very interesting to think of how things would have turned out. Would balance have returned sooner with, with what path would them two took together? Would Obi-Wan have turned the dark side out of jealousy?
That's exactly what I was fixing to ask. Would we have gotten dark side Obi-Wan?
And that's a scary thought, because, he was a formidable Force user. And we all know he sandbagged in Episode 4 against Vader. Even at his age, he was sandbagging, because, clearly you see the battle he got with Maul during, the Clone Trooper or Clone Wars episodes. So he still had it in him. So evil Obi-Wan, that could have been something right there.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. I'm very much of the mind that, Obi-Wan, whether he admitted it or not or knew it or not, he was not prepared to be training someone else yet. It was too early for that. And them being closer in age, he becomes a brother figure, and you still fight with your brothers all the time, and you don't always listen to them. Qui-Gon was more of a father. He would have taught Anakin better. I think you would have had to do something differently at that point, as far as who's gonna go, who's gonna turn, who's gonna become evil, whether it's Obi-Wan or whatever. It's something that would have been different than how it went, right? And I don't know, it would have been interesting to see. I'd like to see a what if of that, just to see how they think.
Obi-Wan is very immature in Episode 1, and he has to take over as being a master at this point. And even in Episode 2, he has a super blind allegiance to the Jedi Council, to where he questions nothing. Even into Episode 3, he questions nothing. At times he should have. I'm not saying that the path that Anakin took. Palpatine manipulated him, but had Qui-Gon been there, I think that Obi-Wan might have eventually failed. I do think that. because out of jealousy and because I mean he was my daddy first.
Well, and so Rob, tell me how you feel about this, but I think too that if you watch the Clone Wars, you see how not only does that brother relationship between those two, where it's not really Obi-Wan's not really in charge of him, but Anakin manipulates Obi-Wan into a lot of stuff too, like how your siblings will goad you into something. He's like, but what if we do this, Master? He's like, well, the council doesn't want us to do that, but sure, why not? Yeah, he talks him into a lot of stuff.
The voice actor for Obi-Wan got to practice a lot of okay, we'll do it that way, Anakin, during those few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. He absolutely lets Anakin talk him into a lot of shit that they shouldn't have done.